right, guys, I got something good for you.
Oh, God.
Chad Zumock finally acknowledging the Steel Toe Morning Show. And there's only one reason why Chad Zumock acknowledged the Steel Toe Morning Show.
Why, Aaron?
Our buddy Hughezy made him.
Hughezy's a sweet boy.
Hughezy is a good boy. He is a great man. He goes on all these shows. And here's what I like about Hughezy. Hughezy goes on all these shows, and he never caters to him. He likes who he likes. He doesn't like who he doesn't like. And he will stand up for people he's cool with. And Chad did not appreciate Hughezy mentioning Steel Toe on his show because it made Chad acknowledge that he knows who it is. He's very familiar with it. But it would not be a Chad Zumock clip if he didn't also say, I don't know that much about him.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that a guy and a girl, I think, from Minnesota or something like that?
Well, remember last time we were the first time we were from Minnesota. Then we were from North Dakota.
Oh, that's right.
Now we're from Minnesota again.
Uh-oh.
Chad and Tony do this thing where they don't know how to deny, like, they're bad liars. So why not just be honest and go, yeah, I'm fucking in the middle of a nervous breakdown. This show makes fun of me, and I don't like it.
Dude, this
That's
guy's
fine.
50.
He is so soft.
That is not good.
This is one of the softest guys I've ever run across. Like, John, look, John is John. Tony Michaels, is like, he's got his history and all that, and he's easy to make fun of, and he does the same thing Zumock does with the, I don't know anything about him, but they're all with Cumia. It's like, well, then you know everything about him when it comes to Chrissie Mayr and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Hughezy's very honest. Hughezy's like, I like these guys, I think this is a lot of fun. He was on Chad Zumock's show, doing Chad Zumock a favor, because Hughezy and I, we both have way bigger audiences than Chad Zumock does. And Hughezy brought up Steel Toe, and it forced Chad to mention the Steel Toe show, which he has never done before. It's always been, some guy and some girl. I don't know anything about him. If you don't know anything about him, then when Hughezy says Steel Toe, that shouldn't resonate with you.
No.
God
bless Hughezy.
You should just go, Steel Toe. I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, yeah. Can you tell me something about them? I know nothing.
Let's watch Hughezy make Chad Zumock break character. God bless Hughezy.
So that's where we're at, everybody. And I wanted to have you on just to talk because you know how to ask the hard-hitting questions. And you seems like
That's Chad in a nutshell, by the way. Suck dick, kiss ass, until you can't get anything out of the person anymore.
Also sounds like a really hacky radio guy. Oh, asking the hard-hitting questions here.
I'll tell you this. I haven't gotten much further than the Steel Toe stuff, but I guarantee Chad is the wind comes out of Chad's sails a little bit as he realizes Hughezy isn't going to trash the shit out of people.
Right.
This is about to get really
Hughezy's
fun.
a nice boy.
Hughezy's a good guy.
You're kind of neutral on all this. You get along with everybody, which is rare in this world.
Yeah, I just think that I just think that it's, as I know I said this before, but it's such a great time as a fan,
right?
Because it's not only that you all, because I like Jim Stansel, but I love it.
Look at how upset that made Zumock.
Yeah, he physically actually put his head down.
Physically put his head down and went. Why? And all Hughezy said is, "I like Jim Stansel." I got news for you guys. Jim Stansel's a nobody. No disrespect, but like nobody knows who Jim Stansel is, and Chad Zumock's mad that Hughezy likes him. I think there's a part of Hughezy. If I didn't know Hughezy, I would say there's a part of him that's trolling Zumock. But no, I just think Hughezy's a good guy.
Hughezy seems like a pure dude. I do have a question before you move on.
Yeah.
Why do we keep bringing this photographer on the podcast?
You on the one with the creepy
Tyler
cult leader eyes?
Chick, yeah.
Yeah. He never adds anything
He's
to the
not
show.
a podcaster. He's a photographer.
Like Tony Mayr, he's a comic, and he's also better at doing a show than Chad is. So I understand why you have Tony Mayr on.
This Tyler guy, he's said it before. I don't know who any of these people are. I don't know if he's a friend of Chad's and he just kind of goes along for the ride.
Probably filmed
Seems
his
like a weird
dry
decision.
bar special for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But let's watch Hughezy piss off Chad Zumock here. I think Chad brought Hughezy on for a reason. In his delusional mind, he thought he could turn Hughezy against all these people that he likes. And Hughezy's, like I said, he's a pure dude.
Because it's not only that you all, because I like Jim Stansel, but I love it.
I just love that. I'm so fucking Jim Stansel. This is Chad Zumock's biggest problem. Chad, you emoted that much over Jim fucking Stansel.
I know.
Bro, come on. Like, here, a comic I've had a serious falling out with. April, go ahead and say, I think Adrian Washington's funny.
You're going to make me do this?
Just do it. Just be a character.
Aaron?
Yeah.
I think Adrian Washington is funny.
What do? Everybody's got fans.
I need mouthwash.
And he and I have a strong dislike for one another.
He's been very mean.
Yeah, he's not.
So have you.
And so have I. We have a strong dislike for each
Yeah.
other. But if somebody told him he was a Steel Toe fan, he'd go, all right, that's cool. And if somebody told me I like Adrian Washington, I go, I might bust their balls and make fun of him and have a laugh with them.
It is true, though. The two of you would absolutely be there. Whatever.
Chad gets upset that someone says they're a Jim Stansel fan. Like, Chad, fucking calm down, buddy.
But when you two get into a Twitter battle, because it's great lines back and forth. And then I get interviewed for the show because I'm a big deal. This show, Steel Toe Morning Show.
Yeah.
And now I've seen that you've started arguing with them.
Hughezy
loves this. He thinks that's so funny.
He was like, I think it's great that you guys are all. I'm sorry, I'm going to do Scottish for an Irishman. I apologize for that.
Bad.
That's a death sentence. But I do love that Hughezy's like, you can't bring Hughezy on your show to be on your side. He's a pure guy. He's like, I just love watching all you guys yell at each other and make fun of each other and criticize each other. See, he's a Scotsman for me.
It's really embarrassing.
I can't do Irish, so this is my Hughezy impression. Hughezy had one of the funniest lines of all time. He was talking to Vince Russo. This made me laugh so hard when I heard it. And he was doing a Stone Cold impression. And he doesn't like his own impressions. And he goes, so do you think that Stone Cold ever said to you, oh, and he said something, he goes, that's my Bret Hart impression.
Cute.
It's like America's the other side of the world, and it's all happening together. And it's fucking great. And you look like a bit like Bruce Willis, by the way.
Thank you. I'll take that. Like now, because I think he has some sort of disease.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No.
So Chad mad that Hughezy likes Jim Stansel. And Chad obviously a little shook up now by the Steel Toe reference, because now he's got this thing going in his head where he's like, fuck, I've never said their name. Now fucking Hughezy said their name. I hate that guy. He makes fun of me. I've told people I don't know where they're from or I don't know anything about them. Fuck, now what do I do? If you acknowledge the name Steel Toe, you're going to have to admit that everything you've been saying is bullshit. And you're going to have to show that you've been watching.
He very much had to focus on the slight compliment that Hughezy gave him just to ignore the Steel Toe part.
You can tell he's just biting down on that compliment.
And I'm sure Hughezy knows a little bit about like Chad's attitude too. So he's like, okay, so I just brought up a sensitive topic for him.
I think Hughezy's fucking with him a little bit.
I'll put the Band-Aid on it a little bit. Like, oh, you look like Bruce Willis
I think
today.
Hughezy's fucking with him a little bit. Because, well, he's not trying to. Chad can be fucked with, again, just by not hating the people he hates. You saw how mad he got at the Stansel thing. Let's see Chad's response.
Oh, that Steel Toe thing. Like they're from like Minnesota or somewhere, Dakota.
Chad, you're so bad at this. It's so much fun. I'll never be able to let this guy go.
That part doesn't even matter, by the way. You chose to fixate on it because you know about it.
By the way, Chad, first time you've had to mention Steel Toe, huh, buddy? Hughezy, thank you very much. Appreciate that, pal. Can't wait to have you back.
I don't even know who they are. I watched like 5 minutes of it. It's all these knockoffs they're trying to like be what Shuley and Bob Levy are doing. And they're doing
bullshit.
A
I am an
knockoff?
Opie and Anthony knockoff, you son of a bitch.
What am I a knockoff of?
Jules, remember?
That guy doesn't know who that is either.
Oh, he knows who.
What is Jules? Some girl who takes care of some old guy.
This guy is the most insecure comic, and that's saying something. He's the most insecure comic I've ever seen. He definitely knows who Red Bar is.
Yeah.
A guy this insecure definitely knows who Mike David is. That's for sure. Now he'd say, "Oh, what is he? Chicago? Or no, he's Arizona? Or no, he's he's Jewish."
I think wasn't that the guy that was gone for like a year?
Yeah,
sick or something.
You know it
You
was.
know who everyone is.
You know-
and you know that he knows who absolutely everyone is, no matter how big or small the name, because he just needs an in with somebody. That's exactly what it is. He knows everyone's bio.
Steel Toe, I don't know anything about Steel Toe, and fuck you, Hughezy, for making me say Steel Toe, because I've been trying to convince... First of all, Chad, who are you? That's another thing. Who are you trying to convince? You have no audience. Your audience is all of our shows that make fun of you's audience going to watch your shitty clips. So who are you? You don't have to do this, Chad. You don't have to put yourself through these mental gymnastics of, am I saying the right thing?
It's
Nobody's
true.
watching it.
He works himself to a lather like a fucking racehorse that was put away wet.
Excellent job with Stuttering John. But the problem is they all want clickbait and they're all trying to do the next thing.
Right.
If you're not a comic, you're not good at it. You're just not. And so
Oh, yes. I should definitely take broadcasting lessons from Chad Zumock. How'd your radio career go, pal? We moved out of radio and we went to this, and it's working out very well. How's yours going? How's that IKEA bed you're sleeping in, pal?
Why do you have to invite yourself onto sets?
Yeah. Where's the, why do you have to crash other people's successful comedy shows? Not only that, why do we have to steal credit cards if it's going so well? And clean your hat.
Why do you feel the need to get people's fiancés into fights and shit?
Yes.
Why are you inviting yourself into a fight, like just for attention?
Chad, you can't control yourself. You know all this stuff, and you're bad at playing this game. And of course, I watched 5 minutes of their show. I didn't like it. Of course, we were fucking with you. Of course, you didn't like watching 5 minutes of our show be hilarious and fucking trash you.
Chad is very much like a Jake Hudson in the way of, like, if we suddenly flipped right now and you and I were super complimentary of him,
Yeah.
we're the best at what we do.
If we
and
sent
he
him-
wants to be part of this.
If we sent him a message that said, Anthony Cumia is a piece of shit, come on our show and let's trash the fuck out of him, he'd be like a moth to a bug zapper.
Just foaming at the mouth.
I don't pay attention to their shows or any of them because if I
You, hold on. He's gold every 5 seconds. You don't pay attention to any of them. You have done 5 or 6 episodes straight on Cumia, Levy, Brennan, Carl from Who Are These Podcasts, Chrissie Mayr and Frank, and now us. You've mentioned us like 4 shows in a row. Chad, come on, buddy. At least the rest of us all admit we love fucking with you because you're such a goon.
Right, we know exactly who you are.
Chad, this is a bad look, buddy. You're so, I mean.
Look at you see that still.
Yeah, Hughezy, that's the perfect look from Hughezy. And Sovchik just looks like how Sovchik always looks. Like he has no idea what the fuck's
He
going on.
doesn't say anything. I don't even have a thing against this Tyler Sovchik guy. I just don't know why he's there.
Chad, you're a radio hack doing an impression of a stand-up comic. So you saying that you don't like a show or you don't get it or it's not good, that's the most ringing endorsement I could think of for a show.
I want to see funny shit. Even when Kumi and I feuding, he's fun. Feuding, he's funny.
Or fooding.
He's so rattled he can't even fucking talk. He's literally turning into Brendan Schaub in front of our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
When Julie's shitting on me, he's funny. I'm good with that. But if you're not funny, you're not funny, and that's
You're good. Hold on. This is how you know that Steel Toe bothers him a lot more than these other shows, because he doesn't laugh when Cumia makes fun of him.
No.
He goes on a 50-minute rant about everyone on his staff on his next show when Cumia makes fun of him. So, Chad, come on, sweetie. A little bit of honesty at least.
what it is. And there's no rivalry. There's no like I
agree.
care.
I don't care. He just gave a 2-minute answer to Hughezy saying, "Oh, I think all of this is hilarious." And Chad just gave a 2-minute documentary serious answer to then say, "I don't care." And also, Chad, I agree with you on one thing. This is definitely not a feud. We are kicking your fucking teeth down your throat. Our numbers are way bigger than yours and getting bigger because we're shitting on you. And you can't even admit it's funny because we've touched something in you that apparently Cumia and those other guys couldn't touch.
Hold on. So in recent videos we've watched of his, was last week or this week, I don't recall, but do you remember how he didn't want to be part of that big compound thing in Orlando?
The content
and he said
house?
it was not the cool group of kids to hang out with. Did you read the title of this episode?
Z-Man's coming to Orlando. Yeah, he said he's going to try to go to that show.
I thought you said that wasn't the cool place to be anymore.
Oh, no. See, his cope for that, his cope is, I'm going as a journalist. Yeah, you're a journalist like you're a radio
Are
guy.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
We're going to be hearing all about you from Cumia and the likes, talking about how you tried to shoehorn yourself into a set with them.
Right. Chad,
They don't want you there.
Chad, you can't be as desperate as you are and then act as cool as you think you're acting.
Don't say these people aren't cool to be around and then, I'm just going to go as a journalist, wink, wink, and then show up.
I gotta ask you, what's happened then with you in WATP? Because that really did come out of nowhere. Because he didn't. It was just that I put on the episode. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was the only time in years that Carl had like a serious moment on the show, and he sounded genuinely pissed off.
I loved it.
What the fuck happened?
Carl's a dork. He's a nerd.
Oh, here we go with the cool guy routine.
It
Remember,
always
Chad's
goes
cool.
to that.
I don't think Carl's ever said he isn't a dork, though.
I think Carl owns that, if anything.
Carl
Carl's
does a show
awesome.
where he catalogs shitty shows and then makes fun of them. That's a very dorky thing to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Who loves Cumia and all his audience, and he's doing very well on Patreon, is
The
from
Ant-Man.
Cumia.
I love that. Hughezy's like, call him the Ant-Man. Zumock's like, no. This is why I can't take Zumock's judgment of what's funny seriously, because he has no sense of funny. He can't pick up funny. Once he gets into his doldrums and he's worked himself into a hate lather, he can't even stop to recognize funny. Versus a guy like Anthony, who's in the middle of two men trying to kill each other in his studio. And
He's just sitting there drinking his beer.
and he's going, oh, it's like a black woman at a Wawa.
oh, guys, don't hit.
Yeah.
I don't want hitting.
Oh, no, you can't break the camera.
Cumia talks about who are these podcasts. He has them on. They talk about nonstop. So he got a lot of Patreon because he was making fun of Opie, who he loves to make fun of. He's making fun of John, who's an easy target. And they capitalized on it. Good.
Chad, at least we can all admit that we have a good time on our shows making fun of people. You sit there and do 5 episodes of rage porn against these people who really all they like to do is bust your balls. And we like to bust your balls because you do shit like this. So then you do 4 or 5 more episodes of shit like this. So we get more content. You don't get any more views. And then you wonder why this cycle keeps repeating itself. Chad, you're a self-sustaining organism of content for the rest of us. You're not a Lowell cow. You're a Lowell farm.
You're also dragging on the question that was asked, too. He asked, why do you suddenly have a thing with Steel Toe and WATP?
Yeah.
And you're not talking about it at all. You're talking about everyone else and what they're doing. And he's kind of like an Opie guy where somebody asks, what's your problem? And when he realizes
It's
he's not the
everybody
funny
else.
guy, it was everybody else's fault.
Yeah. I love how Chad goes, none of these people are funny. Chad, if people watch your show, they're going to go, oh, this guy doesn't think this is funny. I got to go check out that show because this guy's compass for funny is completely fucked.
What did Opie do after the Opie and Anthony show was over? He ended up saying like, oh, I don't think any of the shit they did was funny.
Right.
That the uncle bit was not cool. You know, it was gross. Ugh.
for you. But when I started going after Chrissie, and then when Cumia turned on me because of Kevin, that's when Carl turned because he's
Cumia didn't turn on you because of Kevin. Cumia turned on you because he realized what a fucking hack you were. And then he found out about the stolen credit card. Here's the thing, Chad. The things that are funny to make fun of about you outweigh any of the things that are positive about you. That's your biggest problem. You are no benefit to anyone to have on their show. Anyone who has you on their show is doing you a favor, not vice versa. And you are so self-unaware. And you are so full of projection and anger, but you don't own it, so it's fun to watch and mock and ridicule. That's your problem, Chad.
not authentic either. And he's just like, I can cash in on this. This is my new thing. And it's not working. It's not sticking because fucking Opie's a narcissist and John's a buffoon. And I don't.
Not working.
Okay.
Carl, I believe, just does Who Are These Podcasts like once or twice a week for a living now. Chad, it's working a lot better than it's working for you. No paintings on the wall, no posters on the wall, an IKEA bed. Like, you look like you live in a hostage dungeon.
Yeah, he is. He's sitting on the edge of his bed holding a really, really old mic that we use as like our junk one for live events.
And not even. At least we have a Shure for our
that one.
Yeah, we have a Shure for a junk event. You have a little shitty karaoke machine microphone that you're doing your podcast
I mean,
on.
I ask you, what are you cashing in on that's working for you?
Again, yeah, Chad, anytime you give a judgment to everyone else about their content, just go ahead and assume that the opposite is true about you. Chad Zumock thinking you're good is a kiss of death. Chad Zumock thinking you suck is a ringing endorsement.
I don't give a fuck. That's what it is.
I don't.
So,
But is it just because of that? Because it seemed like it was way more personal.
I love you
between you, because that was
innocent.
another one that I thought, because I think Carl's and I'm going to use some hip hop slang here, a heck of a good egg. I love WATP.
Look at this. This is how you know that Chad Zumock doesn't know shit about funny. He just sits there angry, bitter, and stone-faced while Hughezy is just being funny. He won't laugh at any of it. And Sovchik still has no fucking clue what's going on.
I was just going to point out for a second, that guy has not said a word. Not a word.
No, because he doesn't know. This is another thing. Chad doesn't know how to host a show because he brings a guy on with him and then rants about shit that his co-host has no interest in. Like, he did it to Tony Mayr.
Yeah.
He's doing it now to Tyler Sovchik. Chad is just a man spiraling out of control and incapable of handling his emotions like an adult.
I thought,
and he's criminally
I don't know if
unfunny.
you've seen his live stream or his live show. It didn't, a lot of technical faults. It was kind of like a Spinal Tap, a podcast live stream, but he held it together. And I just think that it's a shame that there's these legitimately funny people out there that can't.
I don't think he's that funny.
This is why I love
This is
Hughezy.
the funniest thing I've seen.
Isn't this good?
This is really good. I am a big fan of Hughezy. He's doing the Lord's work here.
God, this is good.
Don't you see Shuley and Bob do what they're doing? It doesn't. It's like a diluted product. It's not as good.
Wait a minute. When you were shitting on us, this is what I'm talking about with Chad. When you were shitting on us 3 minutes ago, you said Shuley and Levy do a funny show. And now you're saying they do a diluted product. Chad, this is why you're a fucking punk that nobody respects. This is why we all take turns shanking you on the internet. Is because you're clearly phony, you're see-through as all hell, and it's fun to rattle your cage because you sit there and rant about someone for 10 minutes and then go, and I don't really care about them.
And poor little Hughezy here. He's like, no, there's legitimately funny guys out there doing funny shit on their podcast. It's not that funny.
Hughezy deserves, and Hughezy's got like, I think twice the subs we do. He's doing very
he's
well,
doing well.
but he deserves to be even bigger than that. Hughezy's great.
In my opinion, I don't find
Julie
him.
is Jewish.
What?
Fucking love Hughezy.
That's fucking funny.
Look at that face after he says Shuli is Jewish.
What say you to that now?
I gotta
How
go
is he
back to
funny?
that. You know what Hughezy's doing, by the way? And I don't want to put him on the spot because he's too nice of a guy.
Right.
He's going like, oh shit, I have to say something funny because this guy just won't quit and he's just being really dull.
You can't
Doing?
even ask the guy a question.
No.
He's just angry.
It doesn't. It's like a diluted product. It's not as good, in my opinion. I don't find
Julie
him.
is Jewish.
He is. And Tyler,
Well,
do you
I
even know
thought-
who?
He can't laugh. He can't even laugh because he's so into his I'm going to shit on these guys thing.
Awkward. Yeah.
Oh, God. Hughezy, you need to only go on shows where they're going to give you the laugh reward you deserve. This is what I mean. If Chad Zumock doesn't think Steel Toe's funny, that's great because he doesn't find Hughezy funny right now.
Which is
and
fucked.
Hughezy's crushing right now.
Dude, Hughezy has such an awesome position that he holds because he is kind of just out and about, friends with kind of everybody, and he
Yeah.
either likes or doesn't like you, unashamed of it, and
Yeah.
can just go out here and ask you a question, and just the whole show just becomes about you denying everything.
who these people are? Or we're
Not
talking
not many of them. No.
See, that's my
Sorry,
other thing. He asked Sovchik, do you know who any of these people are? And he's like, no. Then quit talking about it, Chad, or quit having these people on your show. For a guy who used to be in radio, you sure are awful at putting a show
I know.
together.
Oh, I just realized why he has Tyler on here, because he can go to him when somebody's bringing up all these people that are so much more funny than Chad. it's almost an own for him to have somebody on there saying, oh, I don't know these people.
Well, I was also thinking he can dictate his side of the story to Sovchik.
Yes.
And Sovchik doesn't have the other side of it, so Chad can finally have someone on his side. By the way, Chad, we're going to break Major. Major's going to leave your show because he's going to find out how full of shit you are and what an anchor you are around his career. Sovchik's got his own thing with photography, so he doesn't really need you. But Major's going to leave you because you do a bad show. You're just full of all this rage and hostility, and he's going to realize he's using you as, we've used this term before, an emotional tampon.
Yeah. But it really is just that Hughezy is bringing up some really great points here about some really funny guys, you and Carl and everyone else.
And he can't laugh.
And hit Chad's out is to go to his other co-host over here and be like, hey, do you know any of these guys? Because I sure don't. No, I don't know these guys.
Chad is so bad at doing a show, and Hughezy is so good at what he does that this is Chad's show, and Hughezy has taken it over as his interview.
Buddy, we've got you figured out.
Chad, we're fucking you. I don't usually say this. Like, this sounds really egotistical, so I don't like to do this, but I'll peacock around one time. Chad, we are fucking destroying you.
I thought that would have been a problem for you because you're wearing a hat indoors.
That's right.
Yeah, no, we.
They won't laugh. Hughezy is saying hilarious shit, and they will not laugh. All these people.
You're both wearing a hat indoors.
I thought you'd have a problem with Shuli being Jewish because, you're both wearing hats indoors.
Talking to.
I love Tyler because he doesn't give a fuck, and I that's who I surround myself with. People, they don't give a fuck. They don't go out of their way to find out who Carl is or fucking Frank. Because that
is a bothered laugh right there. That is a stressed, tension shoulders laugh.
I can't imagine having a problem with Frank
No.
or Carl. Why are you so hung up on those guys?
Frank will see this clip. And Frank, I mean this with all due respect. Frank is a package of baloney. He's safe. He's good. He's a satisfactory meal. He's not going to hurt you.
Liked by all.
He's not going to wring out your intestines.
Yeah.
He's not a superfood that's going to give you a shitload of vitamin B. He is a remarkably capable gentleman who is very good at organization, booking, things like that. He is the least offensive person in the world.
And from what we've heard from his fiance, very, very humble. Funnier than he gives credit to himself.
And also, from what we hear from his fiance, weird striped cock. I don't understand why Chrissy felt the need to tell us that after the interview.
And it's kinked. It's got a kink in it.
She called it Peyronie's disease, but she's not a doctor, so I don't think that that's necessarily true.
His cum is purple.
And that wasn't something we needed to hear either. She'd been drinking a lot, though, and I think we saw her shoot up.
That's true.
So she could have been high on heroin.
She did divulge a lot of info.
I am kidding you guys. Frank, I don't know anything about Frank's dick, and Chrissy does not do heroin that I'm aware of.
Have real lives, and
Listen,
they live.
if they were people that were of interest to me, they would have landed in front of me one way or another. So
oh yeah,
says the hard-hitting podcaster.
That's right, guys. Tyler Sovchik, the good shit comes to him. I'm Tyler Sovchik. The only way I find out about good things is they bring themselves to me.
I always filter my podcast through Tyler Sovchik.
If it doesn't come through my camera lens, it ain't worth seeing.
Oh, God.
Tyler Sovchik is a douche, too.
Fuck.
Chad, you surround yourself with Sovchik and Major because they don't know anything about these other people, and you can rant and rave and be a lunatic, and they'll just sit there and take it from you.
Tyler's like your scapegoat here.
Yeah, Tyler's just your punching bag.
And it's not working.
But it hasn't landed in front of me, so I'm not going to go seek it out just because the name keeps, coming.
I don't watch movies because people tell me they're good.
He just sat there saying these people haven't came across my transom, basically. And then he just said, oh, well, just because I keep hearing these names, why should I go look at them? So which one is it? Is it coming across your transom or is it not?
I've never watched Breaking Bad. I mean, yeah, everybody talks about it, but Bryan Cranston's never come to my house and turned it on Netflix. God, Tyler Sovchik is a fucking... You know what he is? He's an artist cunt. That's what he is. He's a photographer.
Respect my art.
Oh, he's an artist.
It's my craft.
Oh, yeah, he says the word craft. He definitely uses the word craft. Trim your pew beard, you fucking ghoul. All right. Back to 50-year-old aging jock who really wants to go back to high school. All right, go ahead, Glory Days. Keep no-selling Hughezy's funny shit.
way that those names come up are like on this podcast. And it amazes me that people give a fuck. They really.
Your co-host is the main give a fuck guy. He's the guy angrily ranting at you for the last 4 hours of your broadcast career while the rest of us tease him.
But don't you see, Tyler is only sitting here saying that shit because Chad has filled his brain with that, and that's the way he wants him to think, and that's what Chad needs him for.
Well, then Tyler is a fucking infant.
Yes.
Let's watch Hughezy continue to take over Chad Zumock's show.
He does. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it because, again,
Hughezy is baffled right now.
I
He's
know.
like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
He's
these
just-
guys are like, I hate the word cope because it's so overused. He's watching right now two men cope with reality.
Hughezy just wanted to have some fun, and these two won't play.
I can't believe there's still no selling my Jewish joke.
I don't think much of whatever compound media is. And I had some flack on like whatever the last episode was of like, you should do your research. I'm not going to waste my time looking
Yeah,
at
I mean, if I'm going to do a show that talks about this stuff nonstop, why should I do my research?
Dude, then-
If one of you said that to me about like stuff we're talking about, I'd go, well, then what the fuck are you doing here? Get out. Like, we're
Why-
talking about this today.
Yeah, I'd be fired
Yeah.
if I behaved that way.
And I'm fucking her. I mean, Chad, you might be fucking Sovchik. I don't know. You look like a guy in the midst of a dry spell. That's all.
something that does not interest. It's a fucking green screen. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, green screens
What?
are
I
gay.
don't care.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to do a podcast with a guy who has a $10 karaoke microphone sitting on the edge of his bed. You know, I need high quality production. Now let's watch Hughezy because he likes Cumia and he sticks up for his guys.
I would say though that with the Carl stuff, I think you and Chad, you and Carl should maybe try to mend fences because that really was a shame. And he's got a great platform.
He started it. He came.
What a baby! What a child! Oh, child Zumock, little baby boy Chad. You should probably make up with Carl. And Hughezy's trying to be so nice. What he's trying to say is, Carl's way bigger than you, and you probably shouldn't be testing him like this because he's making you look fucking ridiculous. And Chad's like, oh, he started it.
I need Daddy Hughezy to put the kids in their place.
He doesn't need to put the rest of us in our place because we all are kind of on Hughezy's side where we're like, yeah, this is all for fun.
Came at me. And that's what it was. And this all could end with me being allowed to be at the Orlando Improv this Thursday. They're all going to be there.
Oh,
You didn't want to be there. You hate these people, remember?
poor baby. Oh, I
Oh
thought
my
I thought they
God.
weren't the cool group.
You are exhausting.
Again, I watch Chad Zumock and I go, I feel bad that I ever had a back and forth with Gino Bisconte because this guy is so cringe that he makes me want to apologize to Gino. Honestly.
He has said time and time again, these people suck. I want to fight Frank. You know,
I wanna fight
it's going to be
Chrissie.
a bad night if I'm not allowed into the show. Yeah, I want to fight Chrissie. God, stop being this way. You're exhausting.
Wanting to fight women is the only thing Chad's career has in common with Andy Kaufman. That's it, and that's the only thing it will ever have in common.
Chrissy, Carl, Frank. I'm going to be there. You know what a cool person would be? No hard feelings. Shake your hand. But they can't do it because it's not authentic and they're pussies.
Hey, awesome broadcaster, professional radio guy. Way to hold the mic, stupid.
Do you know how uncomfortable this is too for you? I don't know if Chad realizes this, but when people are all like at mass saying like, "No, we can't really have this guy here. He's a problem."
Yeah.
And you show up anyways, you seem like a threat now. You're causing more problems for yourself than anything.
All of
You're
them.
going to need Pat Dixon there to punch him in the mouth.
Right. Bring back
Across the
Pat
board.
Dixon.
Carl is a dork. He's a nerd who loves Weezer. He was in a Weezer cover band. He loves Rivers Cuomo. He lives in Rochester. He never took a chance. He never moved to LA. He never moved to New York.
Chad, are you the guy who keeps telling people they're not funny? Because I got to tell you, Hughezy just tries to ask you a simple question and you fly off the fucking handle and lose your shit. And again, he only asked you about Carl. Meanwhile, you brought up like 9 other things that are bothering you. Chad, I don't say this very often. You need therapy.
Yeah, all Hughezy said is,
Badly.
hey, you guys should really mend some fences. What a shame.
And every time he starts answering, you can see Hughezy's face. He's like, whoa, what the fuck?
I didn't ask for this.
Poor Hughezy doesn't deserve that. He deserves better.
He loved ONA. He started his little podcast and he's doing well, but he's a dork.
You,
Wow, hard-hitting commentary from Chad Zumock. You heard that, guys.
I can't even.
How
applaud
dare
that
Carl
one.
be influenced by a show he liked growing up? Nobody does that. Jesus, Chad, maybe if you had some comic influences, you might be able to put a fucking joke together and sell a ticket outside of piggybacking on someone else's shit.
We're not going to sit here and pretend like Weezer don't have good songs. You're a liar. Buddy Holly's a good song.
Buddy Holly's over.
He can't even fucking laugh. Chad Zumock is incapable of joy.
Hughezy just stood up for Weezer. You can't laugh at that.
Hughezy's like, Weezer. Let's not. Out of all the offensive things Chad just said about people that Hughezy likes, Hughezy goes, let's not pretend that Weezer doesn't have a few good songs.
That did cross a line for him.
Zumock, this is what funny people do. I know you think you're the funny guy. History has proven that not to be true. You're getting a first-class education in comedy by Hughezy, and you're no-selling everything. You're like the ultimate warrior at WrestleMania 12, you stupid dick.
Hughezy makes this look effortless.
He's so good. Hughezy is one of the few guys I watch, and I go, I will never get to be that kind of funny. Like, he's the kind of funny I'll never get to be.
There's a weird innocence about him where he just kind of is this guy. And it's so fresh. It's like, refreshing.
I like the feuding. I like the beefing too much to like pull back the way Hughezy can. I'm a little jealous.
That's
of
why
that.
he's so unique, I think.
I like being mean funny, and Hughezy's just quirky.
You are. Like, anytime someone comes in here, kind of like E-Rock said the other day, like, oh, aren't you supposed to be that loud asshole that I'm not
a loud,
supposed to like?
abrasive guy, but I do it for fun.
Yes, exactly. Once people come around, they understand that you are the loud, fun asshole, but you're having fun with it.
Yes.
Radio right now as we speak, it's overplayed. It's stupid. It's just dumb. I don't hate Weezer. I hate Weezer fans.
Chad, I just, I've been figuring it out for months, but you're just an angry guy at everything. Like, you just need help, brother. You just need help.
What does he like?
Therapy. He hates
everything. Does he
everything.
like anything?
Everything sets him off on a rant. Chad, here's what it is, point blank. You're 50. You failed at everything you've done. You're like DSP. You refuse to get a real job. You're going to cling on to maybe you can have fame, but even Compound Media has rejected you. Who Are These Podcasts has rejected you. Now you're down to like, so there's the kind of the A, and Carl's almost A level at this point, but the B level like Carl. Then there's the C level where we are, and we've rejected you and kicked you down to the D list, and you can't even handle that. Like, you need to just step away and go do something else, because all this stuff is doing, I know in your delusional mind you think you're owning people, Chad. We're all taking turns kicking the shit out of you, and you're just sitting there spiraling, and everything makes you angry, buddy. Like, you need to step away, get some help, find a gig, find something you're good at, because this isn't it. Anyone who can no-sell Hughezy's humor is just not a funny person. And this is all making you angry. It's all making you hostile. Dude, you're flying off the handle about fucking Weezer. It's time to call it a day, Chad.
Fans are dorks because they all think they're like, we're cool nerds. They saying Enter Sandman ironically. We like that, but we're making fun of it. So I don't like Weezer fans. They can all...
Your mic can't even do loud noises.
Did he just say that, by the way? Did you hear? I know the mic cut out. Did you hear what he said?
No, because his mic doesn't work. He's using a Sennheiser karaoke mic.
You can back it up a second or two, but I'm pretty sure. Okay.
Yes, who cares?
Anyone who hasn't heard of it, Enter Sandman is a song by Metallica. You should check it out. Go buy
Laugh, you fucking cunt! You stupid shit! Now you're being disrespectful to Hughezy, and this is bothering me.
CD. Enter Sandman is going to be the song of the summer of 2022. I'm telling you. But with
a chuckle.
But with the Carl stuff, because it's a shame, because he does have this great revolving door of comedians, and I just think that it would be great.
You know what it is? Chad bombed hard on Who Are These Podcasts. Carl said he's the first guy I've ever had to kick off the show because he was so fucking bad
on his pay no mind list.
And then to cope, Chad went, "Oh no, I was trolling." No, you weren't, Chad. You were still trying to get a bump from Stuttering John, so you defended him on Who Are These Podcasts because you thought it would go well. And then John turned you down. This is why I keep saying Chad's worse than John. Mm-hmm. Chad's lower than John.
To get it all back. That would be great if it was, if obviously it's Carl's choice, but if he had like a mutual ground or a battlefield, so to speak, where you and Chrissie or you and Cumia or whatever could talk it out and argue on the air.
He called into Cumia, and Cumia dismissed him and made him look like a fool. That's done.
And everybody else could just jerk the Johnson to it. It would be great.
Anthony's. I respect Anthony that he still let me calls in and all that. It's you're always at a disadvantage on the phone, but they're not cool enough and they're not authentic. It's not real. I don't
I
deal
thought
with
you didn't
not
know
real
anything
people.
about them.
And I know what they are. They're suck ups. They're fake and they're
Wow.
pandering to the, the trolls, the Reddit, and I don't care. I don't care if I talk to Carl ever again. Who
You
cares?
don't care?
I never met the guy. I don't give a fuck.
Sorry.
I
well,
challenged Carl to invite you on a show today, and I bet you
We'll
don't
wrap-
accept.
Chad, we'll wrap it up there, but you do care, buddy. You care big time. It's bothered you for a while, and you are so rattled by all this that you can't fuck. Oh my God, the chat's going nuts. You're so rattled by this that you can't even have a laugh at Hughezy, for God's sake. You can't have a laugh at Hughezy, who's one of the funniest guys out there.
I'm glad you cut it off where you did. It kind of started feeling
Yeah.
like you get sucked into this thing
Hey, look.
where you've totally got to remove yourself.
Look at you. You're learning broadcasting. Good. You know what that is? That's the feel.
Yeah,
Like
I definitely had that feel.
Like I see that E-Rock's in the chat. He knows that feeling where because I was getting it too, where you're playing it and you're like, okay, this is the same shit. I can't keep making fun of there were enough different things in that clip to make fun of, but once it started getting to some of the same points, I was like, all right.
You can only say you don't care to everything so many times.
Right.
I've got to tap out.